I'm sure they're thinking.
Yeah.
I do think that's what that is. Easy getting the meal. Well, I do a lot of things actually, and probably none of them very well. I do like to hunt and fish and camp, some of those things that maybe all wildlife biologists like to do. My wife and I also garden and take care of our property, and we have some pets, dogs, cats, a couple of goats. Well, I think growing up on a farm, it gave me an appreciation of the outdoors and plants and animals and nature.
On my family farm where I grew up, we had a pond and then a little creek channel that was maybe about a foot wide. And around that channel, it was all marshy and wetland. So I spent my childhood going and looking at the frogs and the plants and getting my shoes wet and muddy. And I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed just being in that landscape, spending time in nature.
I grew up hunting and fishing with my dad, and I thought that having a career in conservation would be pretty cool. And I thought in a state that has 97% private ownership, this would be where I could make the most difference.
Wetlands are made up of three things: plants and water and an appropriate soil that will support that wetland hydrology.
There's wetlands all along our rivers and streams in the state, wet meadows and backwater sloughs. One of our other big wetland complexes is in the Sandhills, where we have a lot of groundwater interfacing with the surface that creates wetlands and small lakes.
So I think in some people's mind, a wetland is a wasteland. You know, it's an area I can't use, or it's non-functioning. When you look at that list of things that wetlands do and why they're so important, the wildlife that they support, the fact that they provide a place for groundwater to recharge into the aquifer and for water quality to be improved. A really important thing is that wetlands help absorb flood flows. And you think about the ability to go to a wetland, hear the frogs singing, see the birds there, just the intrinsic or the aesthetic value that many people have associated with wetlands. And so it really provides a lot of service to our entire culture and our society. They're pretty valuable. So the WRE program, Wetland Reserve Easement, is a program within the U.S. Department of Agriculture that the Natural Resources Conservation Service administers and oversees and helps deliver to private landowners. It's funding that's available for the restoration of wetlands that are either cropped or degraded or drained historically. We work to restore those with that private landowner, and then we also put an easement on that piece of property that really just restricts the ability to then drain that wetland and turn it into another use into the future.
And our role with the Game and Parks is basically a technical assistance role. We and Fish and Wildlife Service, and in a few instances other conservation partners, will provide some of the ecological guidance with the restoration.
One of the main reasons that landowners sign up for conservation easements is they want to leave a legacy on the land. They want to make sure that their property is protected into the future.
The WRE program has helped my farming operation in many ways. Really what you're doing is taking out of production farm ground that is typically vulnerable to erosion. It's vulnerable to affecting the waterways negatively. I just think it's a great program to go in, both financially and for the environment.
In some cases, ranchers are looking for opportunities to secure their ranch and keep it in long-term protection, try to keep it in grass long-term. So when we place an easement on a piece of property, We take away certain rights and then we pay for those rights. But with the reserved right grazing option, a rancher could retain those rights for a smaller easement payment and then be able to graze it into the future. So another thought that sometimes landowners have is that, well, if I enroll in this program and I'm receiving government assistance for it and financial benefits from it, then it's open to the public and I have to allow other people to hunt or hike on it or whatever. And that is not a part of the program. The landowner still retains the rights to control access to that property and can allow people to hunt it or not based on a permission basis. I wouldn't say the process to enroll is all that complicated. The application process is fairly easy. You find the right person with NRCS, you fill out the form, sign your name. But if you are accepted into the program, then the process does take time.
My favorite thing about working with landowners, it's the relationship part of it. And it's amazing how many times when a person stops and listens real close to what people value, to see how similar we are and how interested we are in doing good things and taking care of things in the long term for future generations. And I can't tell you how many times that semi-random meeting of somebody in their field has over time turned into friendship.
So I think for most people, wetlands are special because it provides them something that they're not used to seeing elsewhere. And the other thing I would say is wetlands are so diverse in terms of the plant community and the life that surrounds it. And so it's just this magnet where so many things come together.
We've lost a huge number of wetlands across the state, but I think we have hit the low already and we're moving in the right direction. We need to continue to restore wetlands and provide additional habitat and protect them. But I think we are moving in that direction. We're going the right way, but haven't reached that finish line yet.